All right. Hello and welcome everyone to a very exciting fireside chat leveled up in virtual assistant. Today, we're going to be speaking to 6 of our ALX community members, 5 of them, my apologies, diving into their careers and how the virtual assistant program has helped them on their journey. My name is Jay, and I'll be your host today here in cold South Africa. Hey, why don't you let us know in the chat where you're from? I'm keen to hear some answers. Where are you from? In the meantime, I'm going to let you know by the end of this, I hope you'll be able to walk away with some encouragement and knowledge about the different avenues you can explore in your personal journey, particularly looking at the diverse skill set you can garner within the virtual assistant vein. So, as you tell us where you're from and we get those answers, why don't we hear some intros from our community members today? Let's start off with Samuel. Why don't you introduce yourself and where you're from?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Samuel Amadi Ukwe, and I'm from Nigeria, in particular Akwa Ibom State. Yeah, and also I'm a social media manager for quite a number of years now, and I have worked with I've gotten 3 years of experience as a social media manager, managing series of brands, series of individuals, and corporate organizations. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. All right. Let's pass it over. Let's hand that over to Niambura. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from and what are you currently up to?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. My name is Nyambura. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. My current role is a freelance role. I help people who are having trouble with their social media, helping them be able to, get to their goals. I also help with some data work. And in this space, I help them understand how data interacts with their businesses, whatever aspect of data they're using to, advance themselves. I help with that because I'm currently doing the data science course. And yes, we are the first cohort to, I guess, graduate. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, yeah, as well, and integrate that to my virtual assistant knowledge. Yes.
That's awesome. All right. Kellen, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Kellen Curie. I am from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm a virtual assistant. I work with solopreneurs, business owners, and businesses to offer administrative services. I currently work as the executive assistant to the head of legal at Sand Technologies. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome stuff. Loveth, would you like to introduce yourself to us, please? Loveth, your audio isn't currently working. All right, no worries. We're gonna let Loveth, you wanna sort that out in the meantime, and then while you figuring that out, we're gonna throw it over to Wanjiru. Would you mind introducing yourself, and then we're gonna come right back to Loveth.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jason. Hi, everyone. My name is Wanjiru Wanjohi. I'm from Nairobi. And currently I work with Sun Technologies under ALX Africa. And what I do is I'm a community analyst. So basically that involves taking care of learners who join ALX Africa from their enrollment all the way to graduation. And by taking care of you is like, for me, means giving you a stellar experience while you are at ALX Africa, and also ensuring that you get to graduate and you graduate with good grades and make friends, meet other people, and, just walk the journey together. And also in the process, we expose you to industry experts so that you can also interact with them as you prepare for your career. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. All right. Let's see again. Loveth, would you be able to introduce yourself for us, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, loud and clear.
Oh, sorry, I had to change device. I think I was going to the previous device. My name is Loveth Chinaza. I'm a virtual assistant working as an executive assistant to an individual who is a control manager in a financial institution. I am based in Nigeria. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. All right. Okay, so let's dive a little bit into our fireside chat. Let's dive into some of the bigger questions coming up now that we've gotten a chance to meet everyone. So our first question, and I think let's throw this over to Kellen. Can you walk us through the journey you went on from when you did the VA program? Just for context again for everyone here went through the virtual assistant program. So would you mind just walking us through that journey from when you finished the program and how you got into your current position? Can you just walk us through what did that journey look like? How did that go?
Sure. My journey has been quite interesting and awesome. So when I completed my VA program in 2022, before that, I'd actually been working as a virtual assistant, but I wouldn't say I was certified. So I completed in 2022, and then I applied for a position at then the room under talent recruitment. It was a contract position. So after the 4 months, there was an opening to work in the legal department to work as an EA for the head of legal. And one of my supervisors actually recommended me to just apply. The worst thing that can happen is that you don't get the job. But she encouraged me to apply. I applied, went through the interview process. There was a team interview, then the manager interview, and now I'm here. I'm working here. It has been quite interesting and really cool. I do love working for the team that I have. They're really interesting group and cool people. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wanted to sort of tap onto that while you're speaking about your journey would you say the VA program then has helped you with what you're currently doing? And if so, like in what way on a day-to-day has that helped you? What sort of tasks are you doing? How did it help you in what you're doing currently?
Yes, I would say the program helped me. For once, it boosted my confidence because now I could say that I am a certified virtual assistant. Um, the program helped me solidify my understanding and skills on mostly project management and administrative tasks. And I've been fortunate enough to work in a team where we are encouraged to try out new things. So I've been able to sharpen up my project management skills that weren't as great before I joined the team. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's jump to someone else to answer the same question. Wanjiru, I'm gonna ask you this question. Same question. Can you just walk us through that journey from when you finished the virtual assistant program to where you are now?
Okay. Thank you, Jason. So for me, I finished the VA program, was it in 2022? But initially had signed up for the ALX FMVA program, the finance program. But then again, I also signed up for the virtual assistant program, which was really, really great because just like Kellen has said, it also boosted my confidence in terms of being able to like apply for opportunities and feel confident to apply for opportunities. So I remember as soon as I finished the VA program, part of the learning was in terms of networking and also applying for jobs. And I remember a few weeks after I applied for a job in December in Cameroon, it was an NGO and I got hired. So besides my main job at the time, I had a side hustle now, given the job that I got as a project coordinator. And then apart from that, I still continued engaging with the ALX community. So once you graduate, you become a fellow. And through that fellowship, I was able to like volunteer at ALX events. And that's when now there was another opening at ALX and I was able to apply. And that gave me an edge because by volunteering in the ALX community, I was able to meet some of the staff working here, already working at ALX, able to put in a good word for me and a reference, but that doesn't mean I never went through the application process. So, but it gave me an upper hand to know that someone has seen the work I've been doing in the community. And yeah, that's how I got hired into ALX also. So I can say out of doing VA, I got 2 jobs from that. 2 good, great jobs that were even flexible and also provided me with working remotely, which was something that I was really looking forward to. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. All right, I'm gonna sort of jump ahead on some questions here, and I'm not to ask the same questions all the time. But when can you sort of run us through sort of like on a day-to-day basis, what are you needing to run? And like you say, like those skills have been able to transfer into what you're doing currently. So how have you found what you did? Did you find that what you learned has made a big impact then for you on a day-to-day basis for XYZ task that you're having to do? Like it's really equipped you with what you've done. To really see like, is this VA skill set, like how diverse is that? I want to understand that a little bit better.
Yeah, so I could mention multiple skills that I learned, and I'll start with project management and project management tools. So this is the Google Workspace. Initially, like in campus, no one teaches you how to use Google Sheets. No one teaches you how to use Google Docs. So that was something that we learned during the program, and it really helped because even like the job I got, taking minutes of meetings, you needed to use Google Docs. If you are tracking tasks, you needed to use Google Sheets. So project management tools, collaboration tools, that is like Slack, Zoom, those are things that in the world that you're currently living in, we were taught then, and I still use them up to date. The other crucial skills were communication. So the program elaborates more on communication, even how you're supposed to communicate to your seniors. Say, for example, if you're working for a remote job and you're invoicing the client, sometimes they delay on paying you, and even like being able to know like how do you draft an email reminder asking them to like they still haven't reimbursed you, and even being able to communicate to them to understand their work styles, and just be able to know like how do I approach this conversation. If maybe you want to give up an idea, you want maybe a salary raise, how do you go about that? Then also 2 other crucial skills were time management. You realize like everything might look urgent. So you really need to know how to manage your time appropriately, especially if you're working with executives. They don't have so much time on their hands to listen to something that you haven't thought through. And the other thing was now prioritizing, knowing which task is more important. And also you'll have tasks that come, you're already doing something that you thought is urgent, but then another task comes to you, it's still urgent. So just really these soft skills that help you to navigate around work and also working with other people. So yeah, and many more. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's really good to hear. It's really nice to hear how what you learned has really been put into practice and how it's made that impact and that difference on what you're doing on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
I'd love to then sort of move the question, same sort of question on this journey. I'd like to move it over to Samuel. I'd love to hear from you, knowing that you're also in a little bit of a different niche. You're doing social media management and such. I'd love to hear from you. What did your journey look like going from doing the VA program to where you are now? Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jason. So yeah, basically, transitioning from the VA axis to becoming a social media manager is, for me, still the same thing, because being a virtual assistant is helping people do things virtually. They've not seen you. And it has been a whole lot of process, growth day in, day out. you need to not just learn one thing, but ensure you are learning more than one, because most of the times you realize that the tools we are using today, tomorrow it changes. Like there were some on Facebook, because I manage Facebook, I manage Pinterest, I manage LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. So as at last year, there were some tools we were able to use. We can match one Facebook page with another Facebook page. But after a while, I noticed the changes. So I had to work towards ensuring that I meet up with the expectations of my clients. How can I meet up? How can I fix up? So I can say that when learning virtual assistant, going through the VA program, it helped me to be creative. And then it helped me to work towards ensuring that I meet up any challenge that comes my way. I don't back down. I find ways towards ensuring that I solve that problem. There were times that I'm working with a particular brand based in Germany, and it's a fashion brand, managing Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Pinterest, about 5 social media handles for that brand. And basically what I did before now, I don't like video editing, but when they came on board, they gave me a series of photos, pictures of models of their clothing products. And what they expect me to do is convert these pictures to videos, edit them, make them, add animations where there is need. And it was a whole lot of work for me. And they told me, go through this, go through this. But at the end of the day, I felt like I was tired, yeah. So they were like, do you want to back down? I said, back down, okay. No, it's not possible. So what I needed to do was enroll for a video editing class. And that's where I learned the big ways of video editing. And as a social media manager, if you don't have the video editing skill, it's already a problem. It's already a problem because video editing works hand in hand with social media management. All the brands now, they want to come out the visual way. They want to show their products. And if you are not doing it, it's a problem. So I had to enroll in the video editing, and presently I'm doing perfectly well. I was able to raise the algorithm of their Pinterest. The dashboard, when I started working, it was just it was red all through, minus red. But presently I made it at 23,000 views. I have 31,000 views now. So it all boils down to me, the resilient spirit, and ALX would say we do the hard things. So I had to make it the other way. We do the hard things the soft way. So the soft way is I had to sit down, creatively think about what do I do to solve this particular problem. So if somebody should ask me how has the VA program helped you, I would say the great spirit, the resilient spirit, and how I can tackle problems one by one, not giving up, not backing down, ensuring I solve this one before I can move to another one. And here, I'm not just managing just one brand. I can say I am managing about 6 different brands. I am working in a legal firm. The legal practitioner is contesting for vice president, the first vice president, National Bar Association here in Nigeria. I am managing a fashion brand based in Germany. I am managing an NGO based in Nigeria, but the owner is based in US. And as well, I am managing 2 entertainment page for big top entertainment in the industry, managing 2. As well, I am managing a news blog. I am managing a tech hub. So all these things, it shows that I am not just one way. How am I able to manage this thing? It's because I am creative. That's one thing ALX has imbibed in me. Be creative at all times. Because if you notice, the content I post on the fashion, I cannot replicate that same content on the legal board. So it has to do with my understanding of this, the objective one by one, and creatively stand my way of creating this content. Like now, I just finished working for one of the brands. I've been working since morning. So in the morning, I wake up, say a prayer, maybe I want to eat, or if I see that eating will take my time, I have to hold on. Work, it takes me like 2, 3, 4 hours before I can finish everything in the morning, and I work remotely. Yeah, that's my story.
Nice. That's awesome. I love hearing it. I mean, like, you're the epitome of multitasking and doing more than one thing and improving yourself. I love hearing that. I think what's really interesting, and just to mention, if anyone has any questions, please hold on to them and make sure to drop them in the chat. We're going to get to a Q&A at the end. So if you have any burning questions you'd love to ask anyone at the end, we're going to make a chance to get those questions answered. But Sammy, I actually want to ask you, because you're mentioning you working remotely, you working at different companies, you mentioned this German brand that you're working with. What did that interview process look like? Like when you looked for these different roles, what did those interview processes look like that you went through? How did that go about? Like, what did you learn from doing those various interviews that you might have gone through?
Oh yeah, so going through the interview process, I said something before. Before now, I used to shake, camera shy. I don't know how to talk to people. Okay, I had the skills, but the ability to market myself was a problem, a very big one. And the first interview I had, I was to pay about I was to be paid about more than 100,000 naira Nigerian currency. And it was a problem. The interview day, I set up everything. They asked me one question. I was repeating the same thing. They asked me, can you tell us about yourself? It was a problem. So I had to go back to my drawing board. How can I do this? How can I do this? And then eventually the next interview I had, it was a walkover for me. Because one, I said something about understanding my own challenges, and I'm not backing down. So as a man, I don't back down on my challenges. I face them one by one to ensure I tackle all of them. So, and then the next thing that has helped me in my interview process is most of the jobs that I've gotten, I did not get them through interview. I did not get them through application. I don't think about 3, 4, 5 of the job roles, I did not apply for them. What happened is the network, the connection line I had created during the VA program. Yeah, I did the virtual assistant program 2022 September. We started 23 of September. We ended on September 2022. Then we ended November 20, I think 15th of November 2022. Yeah, I still remember the dates. And it was my first tech program that enrolled me into the tech industry, opened my eyes to so many things that I need to do part-time and per season. So one of the things that has helped me is I got to those network I created. So they know who I am. I talk about the things I do. So what they do is I'll just hear, Sam, Alpha, can you do this thing? So immediately you send it, can you do this thing? It's something I've been learning over time. I just say, yeah, I can do it. They will send the network, the number. The next thing is, can you send your portfolio? And I was talking to somebody yesterday. I told them, your certificate is the knowledge you have. Your portfolio is the experience you've gotten, the practical experience you've gotten. So when they ask me, can you give us your portfolio? I send it to them. Immediately, I've gotten the job. So it boils down to the network of people I've gotten around me. Those are the ones that get me the jobs. They just, okay, can you do it? Yeah, I can do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I can say I've got my job offers has come in more from the connections, my network, more than me applying for them. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing, amazing. I love hearing it. Thank you so much. All right, let's move the same sort of questions now. Let's move it over to Nyambura. Let's hear from you. What does your journey look like from when you finished the virtual assistant program? And what did that look like from where you went to where you got to where you are now? And how did the program make an impact on what you're doing and what you've done?
All right. So thank you so much, Jason, for that. So I give a bit of background. I think I was a bit vague on the first answer. So I'll give a bit of context. I started working as an assistant. I literally just walked in when I was, I think 17. I just walked into a hotel and asked the manager, do you have a job? And, started chatting, and that's how I got my job. I became his assistant because I was very confident. He was very confused. How can I be so confident and so young? So that has been my story, my journey. So the biggest strength I have had all through that time was social media. So for me, one big thing I grabbed onto from very early on was social media and the impact it can have on basically all your life, how you connect with people, how you, interact with them. So in that space, as I was growing myself in my capacities, and of course, as a young person, you really don't have a good, communication strategy and know how to, maneuver things like that. So in that journey, sometime in 20, I think, so I have been working as an executive assistant for directors from NGOs. So in a span from between 2018, I think, let's begin with 2016, I was an executive assistant, stroke office manager and community manager for an NGO community space. That was an artist space. So I used to hold sessions, help people, connect with each other, utilize my self-taught social media skills. And then sometime and just moving along, and I'll say this, the power of social media is really underestimated because of all those jobs, most of them I've got them from social media. Even my introduction to ALX was through social media. I was literally just scrolling on Twitter and I saw somebody post about it and I got curious. So let me just go see what this is about. And that's how I applied. But my knowledge of ALA was from literally when it was conceived. Yeah. But then so into that, along that projection, I was doing such a great job that and the only point of contention has always been paying me, because a lot of people take advantage of the fact that you're really good at your job and you're young, and so they may take advantage of you. So that's another thing that was a really big problem for me. So in 2018, I decided to volunteer to another NGO. This is a Pan-African NGO that's called Choose Yourself. That's I think it's in Maine. The headquarters are in Maine. And I progressed from a volunteer from the bottom, and I grew all the way to becoming the project coordinator of the Kenyan region, East Africa, so Kenya particularly. And in that role, I learned so much. Like, I cannot underestimate the value of what I learned in that space. And one problem I had in that space was that I couldn't, I'm a person who communicates, and I had a problem of communication, not speaking, but maybe being too forward. Yeah. So I'd write probably an email and my manager would tell me, your email is a bit harsh, or like, maybe you're too on the nose, or, I'm really direct and I'm to the point, but sometimes, sometimes you don't have the nuance on how to, address some people. So in 2022, when I joined the VA program, that was one thing that I really, really wanted to hone and completely overhaul and learn how to talk, and communicate clearly, yes, but within proper, I guess, yeah, more palatable ways. Yeah. So so like I said, social media is a powerful tool for me. So all through the time, as I was applying, I was posting on Twitter. Everything I was doing throughout the program, I was just posting it on Twitter. Then literally, I hadn't even finished the course. 4 weeks into it, I got my first client. And it was just a Kenyan who is based in the United States. And she was trying to, start her company. So she needed my help to do like a lot of editorial work, copywriting, just a lot of admin work. Yeah. So I helped her within that space. And by the time I was done, so that's a whole month of just doing this. By the time I was done, she was really comfortable with me because I kept updating my work, as I'm elevating, I ask questions. Then by the time I was done, I worked with her until I think it was the next year in around April. And like I said, the problem I have with people is and the employment I have got from freelance work has been payment. So I think that was something that made me just change course. And I started now properly freelancing and applying for roles, because I prefer freelancing. Gives me a lot of freedom and helps me, maneuver my time much better. So that's another skill I learned from the course. I learned a lot about time management, because African timing is kind of a thing, but we manage as we do. Then at some point, I'll give a bad experience I had at an interview, because I think this is very, very important to hear. So like I said, I kept updating my Twitter and stuff like that. And somebody else from Twitter was looking for a virtual assistant. And so I was recommended. So the person gave me particulars on the kind of assistant they're looking for. They were looking for an executive assistant. So because that is my niche. And now when we were doing the interview, I can't remember really particularly what happened, but it was like, in that space where you're really frustrated and you haven't really managed to how do I say this? You're frustrated that people are not paying you your dues, and you're trying to transfer that message. to the next client during the interview, but it's coming off in a very, because you're agitated. So that's another thing you needed to learn, like how to, center yourself even as you're speaking to your next clients during the interviews. Please don't carry the things from the previous experiences to the new experience, because it actually shot me in the foot. And one thing I loved about this client was she gave me instant feedback. I remember it was the hardest thing I had. It was so painful to hear that feedback, but I really needed it. Yeah. So after that experience, I used to also post a lot on the portal. I'm very active on the portal, and that made me very visible because I was helping out a lot. If you have trouble with navigating the portal, you have questions you can't answer about the portal, I would help people do that. So in that process, they noticed me, and I can't remember how I got this job opportunity from Sand. But somebody sent me an opportunity. There was a new project called Project Vanguard that was happening in 2023 between October, I think it was September, yes, until December. So I applied for that. I got in. We did some amazing work with that project. And after that, it was already really like you fortifying yourself in that space. I was getting very comfortable now because I can see the fruits of my labor, because previously, before the course, I was not so confident. I usually say I was basically hacking my way through, life and learning through the internet. Then after that, I was feeling a bit, much better. I am able to, confidently speak for myself, because this role was really very intensive. It was integrating a lot of skills, your sales skills, because I had sales skills, and the job was for me to go, selling an idea to people. And that was really, really helpful because it helped me also utilize the skills I'd already acquired, because I have worked in sales for like, I think 4 years or so. So as we're moving along in 2020, that was in 2023, right? Around sometime as it was ending, there was something called the Find My Place Festival, yeah, by Shubda. And in that festival, the point was to the person who had the highest legacy points, these are points you acquire within the portal for activity within the portal, was to get an internship with Fred Swanica. So I was very active, so my points were quite high. Yeah, and I was already a fellowship ambassador at that point. So as we're going along, I won that competition. I became I got a chance to have a week internship in Fred's office. And that in itself was a whole experience. But before that, after the Project Vanguard come to January 2024, we had another project called Project GTK. In this project, we are meant to interact with the alumni of ALX, people who have actually gone through the program, discussed with them how they're feeling about the programs they took, ask them some questions to see how much knowledge they have acquired from those programs, because they are it's a self-learning journey. And so this was another project to help me really, really fully like conceptualize how impactful ALX is to the young people of Africa, no matter where they are spread across the world. Yeah. So in the middle of that project, I got to do my internship with Fred, and I learned so much in that space. And Fred is an amazing person who he's fully faceted. That's the only thing I can say, because he knows how to work across the board with every stakeholder, from his employees to his potential clients, to who he's working with in all the spaces. So that was truly a revolutionary experience for me. And somehow we got the internship extended from 1 week to 3 weeks, and I had so much fun. And one of the biggest goal is something that I hope I can be able to help Fred achieve. And that's currently why I mentioned that I'm a freelancer, because I have taken a bit of a time to, situate myself again and restructure how I'm going to integrate the lessons I learned in the virtual assistant course, the current AIC course I have just completed, and the data science course I'm doing right now. I'm looking for a way to mesh that knowledge and be able to help me help the executives I will be working with in the future to be able to give them a different kind of a niche, but within the fields they already are aware of. Yeah. So yeah, currently I will say this, I'm freelancing but I'm focusing on finishing the data science course, because do hard things is not a joke. It is hard. It is really, really hard. But yeah, as we finish that, we are working away how I can integrate my fellowship ambassadorship as I work within SAND. Was asked for some time off so I can finish that. So yeah, I hope I have answered your question fully. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. It's so interesting to hear all the things that you've done and even how you're trying to diversify your skill set. Same as how we heard, Samia, how you've done the ACE program, how you're doing the data science program, how you're really just trying to enhance yourself. And I think it really just speaks to how there's never really an end to our learning, right? You can always continue to learn, you can continue to push yourself and keep moving to the next level. So amazing, amazing to hear that. I'd love to now hear a little bit from Loveth. I'd love to hear, what has your journey looked like from when you finished the virtual assistant program to where you're working now, where you're at? How did that look, and how did the program make an impact on your day-to-day?
Thank you so much, Jason. The virtual assistant program started 2022 and was 2 weeks of drilling. Like, it was 2 weeks of doing hard things, but I did not regret any moment I spent learning the first virtual assistant, because it was just like I had a shift in my life at that point. I used to be a teacher teaching in a school. I was their ICT instructor for a school. Then I I came up I came upon the advert for virtual assistant program by ALX. I applied for it, and it was worth the time I spent doing it. The training on the courses, I had one of the trainings on perseverance, grit. It's actually what is helping me to scale through at this point, because at a point, sometimes you want to give up on the job, you want to run away because of tasks. But you remember where you are coming from, you remember the kind of training you got, you tell yourself, I can do harder, I can do better than this. I'm not running away from this job. And then the virtual assistant training also gave me some tools that I worked with at the time. I already introduced myself as an executive assistant, working for an individual who is a financial institution. I help to manage meetings and his entire schedule, everything he does. So I use the traveling templates, the travel templates that ALS gave us. I still make use of it at the moment. The meeting, taking of minutes, minutes during meetings, there is a template we are giving during the program. I still make use of it, and the result is always awesome when I come out to present my meeting minutes. They are always wow, like this is straight to the point. This is nice. So I got that from ALX, and I'm so grateful for that. Then how did I get this job? I actually got it because of ALX. During the program, we were given a week of internship to go and volunteer and ask people to give us tasks to do, so that we'll just do it for them without being paid. I had a few contacts of few individuals I know, professors. So one of the professors that I went to her, I sent her a message. I said, please, ma, I want to be your virtual assistant for 1 week for free. Don't pay me. I'm doing ALX course, and this is an internship that I'm going to be doing for the moment. She told me that she has a virtual assistant. I said, ma, please, could you just give me some of the tasks that your virtual assistant do for you, so I can take up on this role? And after some time, she sent me a reply. She said, okay, I want to see what you can do. She gave me the job. I did excellently well. She said, wow, this is nice. And before I finished the 1 week program, she referred me to a friend of hers who was in need of a virtual assistant. The person is who I work with currently. I actually got the job immediately I finished the internship. I told him, oh, let me get my certificate so I know what I am going through during the interview. I got my certificate the next week. I think the next 2 weeks, yeah, next 2 weeks after the internship, and I started the job. It has been awesome managing his life. It's just like managing his life for him. Thank you very much.
Awesome. That's amazing. And that's really interesting to hear. And I think just like a last question, you can even just speak about this very briefly, Lovis, but I'm quite curious, what made you want to become a virtual assistant in the first place? What about maybe the program or the role? What did you feel seemed appealing to you about being a virtual assistant?
I actually love helping people out in doing a whole lot of things. Where I worship in my church, I have the leaders that I help them do certain things in their workplace. Then I also, when I saw this opportunity, I told myself, this is something I could actually start doing. You know, it's as if this teaching job is not giving me what I actually want, even though it's still in the tech line. Being an ICT instructor, and I'm still in the tech line. Then there are still things that I could do. I'm going to sit at home and do it without having to spend so much on transport. Actually, what caused me to start looking for something I have to do from home was because transport became a problem where I work was a bit far from my house. Entering transport to the place was almost taking more than half of my salary, what I was being paid. I went to the management, complained to them for I told them I needed a raise. They told me they are not going to give me a raise. So at that point I was trying to find something I could sit down at home and do comfortably and still make ends meet. And it was just as if ALX adverts was reading my mind. When I saw virtual assistant, I read through it, and then I went to search online, what is this virtual assistant course all about? I saw that it's something I could do working remotely and helping people to still do that very thing I have been doing physically for others. I am now doing it online without having to spend so much on transport. I am delivering even more effectively and completing more tasks than I would have done the time I was going offline to do them. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, like you say, like you can be a virtual assistant, you can do it remotely, like we've been hearing from everyone. I think that's such a nice, amazing avenue that that skill set offers and is able to explore. Now, I'd like to ask the same question to someone who you didn't quite hear yet introduce themselves. We've got another one of our ALX community members here, Divine. Divine, can you just introduce yourself and can you give us a little bit of context again about the journey you've been on and what you're currently doing? All right, we're gonna give Divine a couple minutes to just get his tech and everything ready and up and running. In the meantime, I'd like to just throw another question to Kellen, something that not everyone might be aware of, but you know, sometimes our community members have done previous education degrees and such, and it's very interesting to find out what informed that decision. So, Kellen, I'd love to find out from you, what did you do before doing the virtual assistant program, and why did you decide to go into becoming a virtual assistant? What informed that decision?
Um, yeah, so I have a bachelor's in business and information technology. And for me, I don't feel like being a VA is so off the course. I'm utilizing my business skills or adding to my business skills. Honestly, being a VA, I veered towards being a VA because of the flexibility, not gonna lie. It's the flexibility and also the opportunity to work with different clients who have different needs, sorry, which then leads me to gaining more, if that makes sense. I tend to learn different things from different clients. So um, I decided to focus more on my business education. And to be clear, I am more of an operations virtual assistant, and I'm niching down to being a tech VA. I hope that has answered the question.
That's awesome. And if you don't mind sort of expanding, we got a question from Alex. What did you think a VA was before you became one? And how did the program then help your new understanding about it?
My understanding of who a virtual assistant is, or rather previously, was that you can only be an admin virtual assistant, which is not the case, because over the years I've come to realize that a VA basically means anyone who can offer business or technical services virtually, not from an office. So sorry, which was the second part of the question? Sorry.
Yeah, and like how did the program then help inform that decision so that you better understood what it now was?
Oh, yes. ALX has offered, or rather offered, a structured curriculum and um, added to the skills that I already had, um, that I already had. And now veering towards being a tech virtual assistant, I've already taken up ACE, and I'm planning on taking up Salesforce admin, which is basically managing CRMs. For those who don't know, a CRM is a customer relationship management system. So yeah, that is it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think you maybe mentioned this a little bit briefly, Kellen, and I'm gonna ask you a sort of last question around the being a virtual assistant. What does a day-to-day look like for you as a virtual assistant? Can you give us a little bit of that rundown of what are you doing as a virtual assistant? What does that look like for you in the week, on a day-to-day? Can you give a little bit of that rundown for us?
Sure. So my days are pretty much structured. I've created systems for myself, just so that I'm working smarter and not harder. So basically, since I mainly manage my manager, I have a time for looking at emails, the times that I look at the projects that I'm handling. Then after that, if he's traveling, I need to arrange for his travel. And then after that, it's basically supporting the team where I can. But mostly my day is surrounded by activities that involve my manager. Yes.
That's awesome. Thanks, Kellen. I want to throw the same sort of question to Samuel. Can you speak a little bit about what you sort of did beforehand and why did you choose to go in and learn about being a virtual assistant? I know you're doing all these different roles, but what was it that initially made it seem appealing for you?
Yeah. So basically, what really happened was while in my final year in school, university, doing my degree program, I was thinking of what other things I can do immediately I'm done with my degree program. What are the things that would help me stand out, okay, and fetch me a job? Because I know basically that the work system, the labor market out there is not really so favorable. So pending what happened, okay, I've actually wanted to be a military officer. I grew from the military background, so I wanted to join the army. But along the line, some other things came to my mind, how my colleagues, my folks, people around me were dying in the army. So I was thinking of a way out. Apart from joining the army, what other thing I can do? And I had no interest on the white collar job, Monday to 8 to 5. Apart from army that will carry rifle, I had no interest for any other thing. So yeah, I was thinking of going into tech, but I was confused. So I went for a church program that was in 2021. It was in a December, and it was just for men guys alone. On a Saturday morning, what they did was a seminar program on how you can earn online without leaving your house, just stay in your room, work even with your phone. So the man mentioned a virtual assistant program, and that was what really caught my attention. It was Wise Men Pray. It's an interdenominational program here in Nigeria, Wise Men Pray. And I was like, so people are making money online and I'm not aware. Wow. So I had to start searching online. I saw the courses, and the course then I checked on Udemy. The program was 4,500 naira, but I had no money to buy the course that period. So I was just searching. As I was searching on Facebook, the algorithm picked my interest points, and then pushed the advert of the ALX virtual assistant program, pushed it to my timeline. I saw it, but I was not really picked. So the next time I saw it, I had to register for it. The funny thing is, when I wrote their aptitude test exams, assessments, I failed the first time. And I felt so bad. I scored 40, I think 47, and I was in need of about 50% aggregate. I had to re-register again, applied again. I wrote the exams, and I think I scored about 60 something. So apparently it was more of me wanting to make a difference. Not just since there was a clue I can make money online legitimately. So I wanted to make a difference that way. Let me check this thing. Does it work? And I started learning the VA program, and here we are today.
That's awesome. Thanks, Samuel. And I want to throw the same question to Wanjiru. You've also got an interesting background. What made you decide to look into the virtual assistant and that entire skill set? What was it that you found appealing?
Like I mentioned earlier, I had initially started with finance, and then I felt like that path I didn't want to take it because I didn't complete because I had so much on my plate. But then for VA, so for me, one thing that stands out, like is always a constant, is like I love to read. So I consider myself a lifelong learner. So I knew I needed to sign up for something. And so I didn't even know what the VA program entailed. It's until then, after I signed up, that I was like, oh, wow, I really like this. So I can say my inspiration to sign up for VA stemmed from like my desire to learn. And also I was in a place, my previous role, like the job that I was working full time, I really felt that I need to upskill because I was feeling that I really need a new job, like a new role. So just by learning a few weeks into the program, that's how I was like really convinced and motivated and inspired to, to be a personal assistant and executive assistant. And I remember for so long I was looking for executive assistant jobs, but then the job I got really wasn't requiring an executive assistant. Like I said, the VA program gave me the confidence to apply for a job because I remember in that job requirement, it had stated that you must speak both French and English, and it was asking for 5 years experience. I saw the job on a Slack channel. So I remember I was like, okay, I think these are my two things that I don't have, but I was so confident with the VA skills because I looked at what the job JD entailed and I was like, okay, JD is job description, sorry. And that's how I really applied for the job and as a project coordinator. So as a project, I got both skills as an executive assistant because I was working directly with the CEO of the organization, and also we would run programs like mentorship for young women in Africa. So ideally, from looking through initiating the application forms to sending out applications to receiving applicants, and also being able to support the executive assistant if you need to reach out to sponsors, drafting proposals, responding to emails. Much of what I still do at ALX currently, because now here I engage learners, and part of that is like exposing them to industry experts, like hearing from the people who have really made it, who have startups in the ecosystem. You need to still go through the same process. You need to maybe reach out to someone on LinkedIn. You just don't like send a message because people are busy. How do you talk to this person that they can really pay attention to what you're saying? Again, emails. How do you send this email that someone has a million emails? How does your email stand out for this person to like want to read your email and like really take the time to respond to you, or even like move to a call? Yeah. So I can say the skills, I'm a VA as of now. Like I think I still use the skills like on a day-to-day. Much of what I learned, I'm still using up to date. Yeah. So for me, I think being a virtual assistant is like a basic requirement for all, because first you're dealing with people, you're dealing with systems, you're dealing with the digital tools. They all go around together, and you have to be able to balance all these things. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Wanjiru.
Welcome.
Great. I'd love to now hear from Divine. Divine, can you introduce yourself and yeah, just tell us a bit about that journey you went on from when you finished the virtual assistant program to where you are now and what you're busy doing.
Okay, thank you, Jason. So like my name is Divine Shitu. I finished the VA program Cohort 1. So and since then, so can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Like I said, I finished the VA program Cohort 1 with ALX, and I'm from Nigeria. I'm currently I'm a digital marketer. I'm a digital marketer with Techie Chip, and I'm also a personal assistant and social media manager to an Afrobeat artist. I manage both his accounts and his fan page account. And I'll keep him anonymous because here in Nigeria, there's this war between artists, so I'll keep him anonymous. So yeah, ALX have played like significant role throughout my career, and coming from my background, I have a BSc in microbiology, and during my final year, I got introduced into freelancing, and I got introduced into freelancing. So me trying to find the right track, like okay, what part of this, like this freelance is a whole big space. So what parts will I venture into? So while on my search, I was on Facebook. Then I saw this ad pop up on my screen from ALX. I was like, okay, virtual assistant course. So I was like, let me check it out. And I clicked on the ad. So from there, I applied. Like Samuel said, I failed the first test too. So I had to reapply again, and I got in. And funny thing is, I didn't actually, after the whole program, I didn't actually get a VA role till not until last year. But what ALX actually helped me do was AL, before I applied for the program, I didn't have a LinkedIn account, I didn't have a resume, I didn't have a CV, I didn't know how to apply for jobs. But with ALX, during the program, they made sure everyone has a LinkedIn account, a resume, cover letter, and so on. So I got all this from there, even the tools to work, everything I got from ALX. So with that, I used to get other roles, not until last year when I got the proper VA role, I was not able to apply to them. So yeah.
That's
So I think
awesome.
that's my journey. Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. And just to sort of tap on that, Divine, were there any sort of tips that you learned from when you were out looking for these sorts of positions that you found, and the interviews you went through? Is there anything that you learned that others could learn from the same journey that you went on?
Yeah, sure. Of course, like I said in the program, because you applied for a VA program with ALX doesn't mean they will give you only that VA stuff that you need. It's actually wide. So at every process of your learning, you have to take everything serious. And like I said, I keep all those materials. So even though I didn't get the VA job on time, I still had to use those materials I got to get other roles until I get the main role. So throughout the journey, the learning process, every step, everything you learn is actually very, very key. So I'll advise they always keep tabs of all what they learn. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Divine. I appreciate it. We have reached an hour, so we're going to start now looking towards, if anyone has any burning questions, just make sure you drop them in the chat. We can take a look at them now, and we're going to end on a final question amongst the rest of our community members. I do see there's a couple of questions that have come in. Geraldine asked, how much are we expected to earn as a startup VA? I'm going to put that forward to anyone to answer, and just really rough ballpark figure of what could someone expect to earn being a VA. I'm gonna maybe pass that to Loveth or Kellen, being specifically in being a virtual assistant. Could you guys give sort of like a ballpark sort of figure of what someone could expect to earn?
Okay, that earning was the first challenge I had, but I had to, because in ALX brought us into a community where I'm also very active. I have other people who were also virtual assistants in the group, and they got the job. They were doing virtual assistant jobs before I had the opportunity to. So when I was asked to come up for this role, I went to a friend who, she's a very popular person in ALX. I went to her, I asked her, please, how is it that we can measure how much we should be paid for a particular job role? She said I should list out the tax, what my job references are. I should know how much time I am going to be spending on this very job. If I am going to be spending more than 5 hours a day, I shouldn't expect anything less than 6 figures. I am working in Nigeria, like my country is Nigeria. If you convert the dollar to naira, it should be in 6 figures. If you are going to be spending up to 6 to 8 hours a day in a very job you are doing. So what's the first thing you have to do? Sometimes some people sometimes can be very tricky. Outside this executive assistant job I do get other professional assistant gigs that I do. Sometimes it will be very tricky. They don't want to tell you exactly what they want you to do until you get into the job. So be very clear with them. They should be able to spell out what they want you to do. If you are managing their social media handles, how much time are you going to be spending on the social media handles? In the average, I would say as a virtual assistant, if you are doing a full-time virtual assistant role and you have experience in it, you should even be earning less than 150,000 in naira, and you should convert that to dollar. It should be around in dollar. It should be around, let's say, $80. I don't think I'm right. I don't think I'm right to that calculation. But if you're in Nigeria, you should know what I am talking about. But the main thing is for you to know what your terms of references are and how much time you are going to be spending on that very job. In Upwork, you can say per hour, the job per hour, you are being paid like $3 to $5 per hour in Upwork for a job. So, and then when you are starting, because you need experiences, you need something to put in your profile, you can take lower when you are starting. But as time goes on, as you are gaining more experiences, as you are getting more exposed in the field, you begin to tell yourself, I am worth more than this. You can begin to raise your pay, but for a start, you can start lower. You can even start taking on volunteer jobs like I did. I took on volunteer jobs. I did things free for people until I got more exposure, I got more experiences. Then I say, oh, this is what my worth should be. And even though I am already in this very job, or from time to time I tell my boss, so I think I need a raise. He's got no problem with that because he knows there is inflation in the country and we need to keep getting things to match our livelihood. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Loveth. I see that there are a couple of questions. I also see Niambora has been answering some questions around here and there because some of our community members are actually on the YouTube chat currently. I think I think a lot of those questions have been answered. I've seen a couple coming in about can you get a job purely doing the ALX program only? I've seen a couple about the privacy policy and so on that companies have. And I'm sure some of these have been answered and some can still be answered even after this. But thank you everyone for joining. And I'd like to just end on a final note from all of our community members. We're going to do a bit of a round robin here. Can you give some words of encouragement for anyone wanting to follow that same journey that you might be on, anyone looking for these sort of opportunities that come their way? And let's start off with Samuel. If you can just give us some short words of encouragement that you would want to give someone looking to follow same sort of journey.
Yeah, coming into the tech industry is sweet. You would always face you'll be happy. You call yourself a tech bro, call yourself tech sis, but basically, you have to remember most of the times you can spend 6 months without getting a gig. You can spend 8 months without getting a gig. I have been in the tech industry and it's just this year, I can say I started getting gig. Just April, I was able to sign 3 different contracts as a social media manager. I've always been learning. I was learning for almost a year without working. Yeah. So don't expect freedom, don't expect money, don't expect victory immediately. It is an investment to your life. So investment is a long term, except you want it to be a short term. You want it to be a short term, just go for the frivolities, those small ones. But if you want a long term, want to invest for a very long while, you get it. So what you do is ensure you impact yourself with so much value so that anytime you get that gig, you'll be able to deliver. Presently, I do say it, nobody can come and price me. If you're in Nigeria, the least I can take is 100,000 naira. That is in Nigeria. Even if I'm managing just one Facebook, and I don't post more than once in a day, the least, that is my least offer. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, Samuel. Let's throw it to Kellen. Can you give us some words of encouragement that you would want to give someone? Short and sweet. What are those words of encouragement you want to give someone following the same journey?
Okay, for anyone who's considering being a virtual assistant, I'll say start with a structured program. And of course, I'm biased. I'll say join the ALX program. And then also, once you have successfully completed the program, don't be afraid to start on small projects, just so that you can build your portfolio and also your confidence, and gradually upskill and, expand your skill set. And eventually you'll be able to demand more better paying jobs. Let me put it like that. But yeah, don't be afraid to start small and keep upskilling. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Kellen. Niambora, can you give us some words of encouragement that you'd like to give others?
Yeah. So first thing I'd like to say is, guys, like, do not doubt yourself from the get-go. You have what it takes. Doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter if you have a degree, because right now in Africa, it's really become very expensive to gain education. So please take this chance and run with it, and don't doubt yourself at any point. You have the skills you already need to move forward, and the biggest is self-starting. And if you're able to self-start by joining the program, you've already taken the biggest step. Yeah. And so also understand the industry as it's moving. So go into job boards, go into YouTube, ask questions in the portal, ask the people who've been here before, because they have seen some things you probably haven't yet, but maybe the situations you will experience will be different from what they have experienced. But either way, there is knowledge to be gained and wisdom to be had. So please ask questions, be curious, and self-start. That's the biggest thing I'll tell you about being a virtual assistant. You cannot sit and wait for a job to come to you. You have to go find it. You have to project yourself. You have to tell them who you are and use your social media as your weapon for your own good. Because for me, that's the one thing that has ever worked. And also the relationships I have built within these social media networks and also outside in my relationships within my normal life. And I can tell you for free, I am a person who does not usually have to apply for jobs because I get recommended. Most of the jobs I've gained in my life, I am just recommended because I am good at what I do. And when you're doing something with all of your heart, it's visible. People can see the impact you're making. So please don't be scared to upskill, to grow yourself and show yourself to the world, because that's my biggest fear, being seen, but here we are. So yeah, it has helped me further along my career. I'm currently trying to be a meteorologist. I can be able to also tell you about when the flooding is coming. So you see, this is some things that the virtual assistant has helped me be able to be comfortable saying, because a long time ago I could not say I love the environment, because we're looking at me like, huh? What are you talking about? But right now I'm confident enough to say you can do what you want with your life as long as you have the confidence to do it. So don't be scared. Just take the opportunity, run with it, and you'll get there. Don't be scared.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks, Nyambura. Loveth, can you give us some words of encouragement that you'd like to leave everyone with?
Thank you so much. As a word of encouragement, I would say keep upskilling. Don't give up. When you start this course, it's going to be like, I can't do this, I can't cope. Ask questions, get to know people who are also in the course, make friends with them, and make sure you are being carried along each step at a time. Don't give up. There is always joy at finishing what you've started. Like I always tell this to myself, and I will tell that to you. Look forward to your graduation. Look forward to getting congratulations from people. Let that be your focus. Let that be the push that you have. Don't give up on what you started, finish it, and then make sure you also actively participate in the ALX community. I am very active in my own community here in Nigeria, in where I am in the States. I am very active, volunteer for roles. You don't know what you will be learning. You don't know opportunities that will be coming your way because you are volunteering for roles. Then do things because you want to serve. You want to serve humanity. Do things because you want to grow yourself. You are evolving. You are developing. You are becoming who you never thought you would become. This is the word of advice I will leave for you. Keep doing hard things and don't give up. Finish your milestones at the right time. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, Loveth. Divine, can you give us some words of encouragement that you'd like to give anyone looking to go on this journey?
Okay, keep learning, and the fact you're already in this ALX community is like already an awesome space for you. So always engage with the community. Like you don't even have to finish the course before you get a job. You can get the job in the course. So always make use of the community. And most time you don't even need to apply for a job to get one. Like your employer can be in your community. So always make sure, try to market yourself, post once in a while in the portal, and you can get a DM and always introduce yourself. Okay, this is what I do. Any gathering you are, you can actually get an offer like that. You don't actually need to apply for a job to get one. So yeah, and keep learning too.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Divine. And Wanjiru, can you leave us off with some words of encouragement that you'd like to give everyone following this path?
Yeah, sure. So I think I have about four things to say. First of all, it's preparation meets opportunity. If you're preparing yourself, you know where you want to go, and you're getting all the skills and the tools and the learning. When that opportunity comes, it becomes so easy for you to, like, just swim through the opportunity. And then another thing is, part of the reason I really love ALX is because of here we do hard things, and you don't have time to waste. Milestones, assignments are there. So it keeps you on your toes, and you find that you've done something that could have taken you 3 months. Like people sign up for Coursera, and life happens. You have work, you have stress, you have sherehe maybe sometimes, and you forget to go back to that course. But with ALX, like, there's a stipulated timeline, so kind of it pushes you to, like, really go beyond your own limits. You're able to, like, find that you can actually, like, multitask between work and learning, and at the end of the day, you're just proud of yourself. And also the aspect of building networks. ALX has this huge community. People have been in the program before. People who are currently in the program. Please leverage on this network. It's just young people like you, someone who is working or someone who is in university and still doing a course on the side. You're all having the same goal: to study, to upskill yourself and get a job. So it really becomes easy to walk the journey. You don't feel like you're isolated. You don't feel like you're the only person facing the challenge of lack of opportunities. You're all together, you figure out things together, you grow each other, you have ideas. And even though you can do that, you meet friends. And yeah, we need friends, and we need sometimes to laugh. And then the other thing I would say is, you'll never regret doing a course with ALX, because they go to market and they do their research, because we're educating young Africans. So we are always keen to find out what would put them ahead, like what would make them marketable, what would make them get to be entrepreneurs or to even get jobs. So really, it's really nice. I love the way they structure the content. You're not just reading technical stuff, but you're also getting these soft skills. And one last thing I can say, learning never ends. So please stay curious, and just remember, competition is high. You're here, someone is doing this program, 5,000 people, other 5,000 people in South Africa. It's the global market. So keep learning and stay curious. Always stay curious. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah, stay curious. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, everyone. It's been amazing to hear how all of your journeys have been shaped in different ways, and the incredible work you're all doing in your own spaces. Thank you, everyone, for your answers, and I hope everyone that's been watching has gained some valuable insights. And thank you for your questions. Thank you for tuning in. It's been amazing to be here. It's been amazing to be your host. With that, then, I bid you all goodbye and have a fantastic week forward. Be sure to look out for our intakes, our soonest one, the 25th of July. Keep that in mind. If you haven't already applied, go there, get in there, and meet amazing community members like the ones you've just seen today speaking to us now. Thank you all, and goodbye. Have a great day.